All right, I think we have had enough time for lunch to catch up, to refresh, to stretch. And I think for some of us who have steps goals, you've been able to achieve that since lunch was a bit of some distance. So you're very, very welcome. Before we get into the afternoon session, I'll kindly request all of us to stand on our feet. Let's kindly stand on our feet for a very quick stretch, and then we will get into the afternoon session. So let's kindly stand. If you can see me, if you can hear me, let's kindly stand on our feet. I am still waiting to see everybody in the room stand. If your neighbor is still seated, kindly request them to stand. All right, all right. So this is very simple. I know even as we've been here talking, having very serious, candid discussions, we've called doctors, we've called professors, but for the next 1 minute, I want you to put your accolades away. I know you're very qualified, but for the next 1 minute, we're just going to stretch a bit. And so do as I do and say what I say. 1, 2, 3, 4 with both hands. Let's try. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. And then your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. You already know the gist. Let's go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you clap twice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome, very nice. Now let's try one more time from the top continuously. 1, 2, 3, go. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now here's the catch. When it comes to the chorus, I want you to walk around and high five. Just walk around or even just move, feel good for like a few seconds, and then we will wind up very, very fast. We'll start slowly and then end very fast. All right, over to you, DJ. So tell your neighbor, give me space, give me space, give me space. Let's go. And high five people. Walk around. All right, stand where you are. Let's go with the rhythm. Let's go with the rhythm. Go with the rhythm. Fastest. Fastest, fastest.
Australia is well known for beautiful beaches, safety and high standards of free public.
All right, thank you so much. I think I can confidently add into my CV that I had UNFPA delegates dance. But thank you so much for coordinating. You'll sweat a bit, but at least your food is halfway digested. Please don't sleep in this next section. We are going to get into session 4 that will be addressing inequalities and disparities in vital event registration and ID management across the life course. And this session will build on the review of inequality as assessments of civil registration systems in session 3 by exploring how different countries have sought to close the gender, social and geographic disparities in vital event registration completeness. To guide this session, we have Mr. Papasek, the Chief Data and Research, UN Women. Let's give it up for Mr. Papasek as he joins me on stage. We'll also have presentations. We have alignment of inclusion of undocumented immigrants, refugees, stateless persons, CRVS systems, strengthening and universal health coverage in Thailand by Mr. Yutakan. Give me a round of applause even as we welcome Mr. Yutakan on stage. I hope he's somewhere around. All right, over to the next panelist. We have aligning CRVS and ID systems with banking and finance inclusion of women in Zambia. And this is represented by none other than Ms. Mabel Mungomba, the chairperson, World Vision Zambia. Put your hands together as you welcome Ms. Mabel on stage. Addressing the drivers of under-registration of marriages in Benin, we have Ms. Yvette Behanzin, the Head of Litigation Department, National Agency for the Identification of Persons, ANIP Benin. Put your hands together for Ms. Yvette. And aligning health information systems, strengthening and CRVS improvements in Kenya, we have Mr. Ayub Manya, the Head, Directorate, Health Policy, Financing, and Digital Health Innovation, Ministry of Health, Kenya, and Chair. Very, very long names, but we thank God for the accolades. Routine Health Information Systems Working Group, Health Data Collaborative. Put your hands together for Mr. Ayub, even as he joins me on stage. All right, this session is going to be moderated by Mr. Papa Sek, so we'll request you to pay attention, note your questions, and then we'll be able to take them at the very end. Over to you, Mr. Papa, for the next session.
Thank you very much, and welcome back from lunch. Hopefully, you'll have the chance to recharge. So for this session, basically, we will just pick up where we left off. Earlier, we heard about, from different perspectives about the different assessment tools that exist. And this time around, we will shift this conversation to the country level. And really to, try to also answer that first question that Priscilla started with and that Ramesh also spoke about, which is which assessments make a tool to use for what. And I think the discussion that we will have with countries will really help, hopefully, to illuminate us. So just to say, we are, an hour, this should have started an hour and 15 minutes ago. So I'll just ask each of you to please limit your intervention to 5 minutes, no more than that. And in 5 minutes, I'll let you know that it's 5 minutes, so that we can at least have a conversation here that is not rushed, but also have conversation. We have a conversation with those of us who are sitting over there, because there's a wealth of knowledge in this room, and we want to make sure that we have those discussions. So first, let me start with you, with Mr. Yatokon. So can you please tell us about your experience in Thailand? Please. 5 minutes.
Good afternoon, Jambo. Sawasdee krab. On behalf of the Kingdom of Thailand, it is a great honor to be here to speak about Thailand's unwavering commitment to the reduce inequality and building an inclusive society for all. Foundational principle of commitment. Thailand adheres firmly to universal human rights principle and the Sustainable Development Goal, particular goal 16.9, which aim to ensure legal identity for everyone, includes birth registration by 2013. Legal identity at the first door. Thailand believes that having a legal identity is the first door to protection of fundamental rights and access to essential state service. Being excluded from registration system is seen as truly being left behind. Commended. The country registration system is built upon the powerful and simple principle that every human being residing on Thai soil must be registered. The 13-digit ID, the implementation of the 13-digit national identification number is a critical tool that allows the government to identify individuals and grants basic rights, access to public health service, education, and social welfare, thus concretely advancing the goal of leaving no one behind. These are the intention and principles that underpin our work. For the detail, I would like to allow the next speaker, Ms. Udom, to present. Thank you.
Okay, so we have got just a few minutes here. Our succession in Thailand, could you please move to the slide number 5, please? Yeah, the next one. Yes, our proactive measures reform as Thailand's in the region are categorized of high population mobility. The country faces complex humanitarian and technical challenges in managing various populations, including those without identification document or with unclear legal status. So the Thai government has enacted several proactive measures to bridge this gap. For the first strategy, the next slide, please. The first strategy, the legal and policy reform toward universal registration. This effort is guided principle, born in Thailand must receive a birth certification. So our birth registration amendments to the Civil Registration Act ensure that every child born in Thailand is entitled to registration and a birth certification. Regardless of the legal status of the parents, this document serves as the first legal confirmation of identity, protecting the child from statelessness and human trafficking and providing opportunities for education and public health. So even if it does not immediately lead to Thai nationality. So the second strategy is utilizing digital technology, online birth notification or e-notification. So Thailand developed a system that directly connects hospital nationwide with the Department of Provincial Administrations under the Ministry of Interior. The hospital nationwide with this one allowed immediate birth notification. And the third strategy is outreach and collaboration. So we have got a mobile registration unit as it helps for the remote areas, high altitude communities and temporary shelters for those fleeing conflict along the border to overcome geographic and travel obstacles to registration services. And another thing is the cooperation with the international organization. For example, CSOs and UN agencies, specifically UNHCR and UNICEF. And the next one, the fourth strategy, identity management for specific groups. Even non-citizen ID cards, we also offer, for the example, cards start with number 0 or cards with number 6 to issue for stateless people, individuals, or those who are waiting status for verification. And they can wait for the certified documents, allow holder to travel, access education, receive medical care, and engage in authorized occupations. Okay,
last point.
Okay, last point is the 10-year ID card. So for stateless person who born in Thailand and meet the legal qualifications, the government has implemented a policy to issue the ID card 10-year, permitting permanent residency and stability, support their dignified integration into Thai society.
Thank you very much. Thank
That's
you for
quite fast.
sticking to the time.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Ms. Mogomba, let's go to you. And sorry about the 5 minutes, but we have to catch up with time.
All right. Good afternoon. So because it's 5 minutes, I'm going to see how I can deal with the time. But I just wanted to start from a perspective of saying, I wanted to have a slide to show you that the challenges that you're dealing with when we talk about CRVS are almost the same challenges that banks are dealing with when they're doing financial inclusion. So there's a symbiotic relationship even before we talk about it, just from the perspective we are seeing this from, which is your vantage point. It also becomes the vantage point for the financial sector. The other bit is to say, we know there is dwindling of resource now. Even the people that funded our activities before are no longer able to. So what we are thinking about now is to say, how do we stimulate and activate other sources of financing and somehow begin to work together on these things? So I wanted to say, normally when we are talking about CRVS, we talk a lot about meeting SDGs. Well, the bad news is that there's some glaring statistics that the UN has published And one of them, which is really, really difficult, is that it will take 286 years to close legal gaps and eliminate discriminatory laws. And then it will take about 140 years to achieve equal representation in managerial positions. So every SDG is off track. And women empowerment is actually central to how we meet the SDGs. In my country, Zambia, we find that women are the nurturers, they're the ones who do the working, they raise the children, and they're the ones who are at the center of every social activity that has to do with their families. So it means we're a bit late even having this conversation, and at the same time, we need to now start changing the paradigm and looking at all these things we're hearing in the morning are good. We've been talking about them. We've advanced on some of them. But in actual fact, we need now to shift and say, how do we bring intentional action in the agenda so that even those places of most potential where we are uncomfortable to go and we prefer to be speaking amongst ourselves, that is where the solutions lie. And that is where this woman that we are targeting is going to get the most benefit. In Zambia, another thing that happened after the COVID is that the technology highway opened up. And what we've seen with the banking sector is that although they are profit-driven, suddenly they are allowing interfacing with other organizations to make their operations more efficient. So I'm just thinking, since they have the money, as most of them are private sector, to invest in this, how do we get them on board so that they deal with the big things? For example, if it was a cross sector between them and the government, maybe they can fund the infrastructure because government can convince them that they have the collateral to make them feel safe. And then maybe we move away from there and say, what are the other things that we need so that in those other things we again bring in the society and other people with convening power to be part of the partnerships. And therefore it means we do less of just talking about tools, talking about things that may be more administrative, but more move to transformative activities that we can do. So why is this important? Because when a woman has no identity, it means they are invisible. And it means the agenda we are pushing, we've actually left this woman behind. At birth, the child needs an identity. It is that child who will grow into a mother, and they need that identity to unlock all the opportunities for success for themselves. At death, for them to access the wealth and everything that maybe their partners could have left, or even their own siblings to claim, they need that identity. So all I'm saying is that a national ID or a marriage certificate allows safe entry into the labor market and all the other financial systems and even social systems that are needed to make a person whole. And it means that when a woman has those things, they are empowered. They are also actually more confident to be able to take on other things that may come to them, which make women usually less resilient, and they are left behind even without talking about it. So what I'm seeing in Zambia is that we have seen that government has thought of this already, and they are working even on a single national ID agenda. Apart from that, the Bank of Zambia, who's the banking sector, is also seeing opportunities that when people have a national ID, they actually are going to have a data hosting in one place where all this information that we've been talking about all morning can be hosted. And they can actually focus on looking at the parameters like data accuracy and so on, which otherwise we wouldn't do. So let me just say the last point. So all I'm saying is that there are many leverage points that we can see among ourselves. And those leverage points mean that we don't need to be always profiling people using the same information. What we need, maybe let me have the last slide just to say the message.
We can't go into the last slide.
Okay, just let them read it. I wanted to say that I haven't come here to talk about the technical side of this agenda. What I've come here to do is to say to you, I'm an outsider, but I see the transformative potential. I also see that if we can do an ecosystem activation around this, we can bring everybody who's supposed to be in this agenda together. And together we can then do the things that we've been talking about. And CRVS will become actually an important component of national development and also global development. The other bit is we'll have money coming from areas where we don't even know. It requires ecosystems thinking.
Thank you very
and
much.
Everybody who's in the ecosystem.
Again, apologies. Okay, so let's go to you, Ms. Benzin, please. 5 minutes. The case of Benin, right? Yes, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Ma présentation sera
My presentation will be done in French. Tell her to hold on. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, member of panelists, distinguished participant, good afternoon. It's an honor for me and a real pleasure to address you on behalf of Benin, especially on these symposium on registration. So to share the Benin experience, I'm here to share our experience, especially in terms of civil registry and as well as all the different steps of people during their lifetime. Our vision. Our country, Benin, based in West Africa, is characterized of about 13 million of inhabitants, and it has been involved in a path of modernization in the department of registration, civil registration. So these focuses on the implementation of the sustainable goals.
Sorry, can you move the slides? Nous savons tous ici.
We all know that the lack of identity means invisible, to be invisible. So it means that you'll be excluded from social services, you'll be excluded from development as well. So in order to break this issue or this situation, our government decided to engage in changing a different structure in our government. Before the year 2017, our system had a lot of dysfunctionality issues. First of all, we have the bad keeping of data. And then also we had cases of identity fraud. And we also have the non-registry of birth cases as well as marriages and divorce. These was due to a huge number of people living without any identity. So in relation to the reform, in order to resolve this situation, the Benin set up a situation, an integrated model that is based on a solid foundation. 3 main law was promulgated. So we have the Act of 2017 on identification of physical people, and then we also have the law of the year 2026 on the derogatory law, and also the second one, it is the simplification of the civil state. two main projects underpin this dynamic. So we have what we call RAVIP, which is a census that was conducted in 2017 and 2018, allowed us to register more than 10 million of people. And we were able to have biometric data as well as demographic data. Then we had PEDEC, which is a project that focuses on the civil status that help us to regularize 2,700,000 citizens because of free services that was given to them about the birth certificate. And then we also modified our procedure. Today, every cases of birth as well as marriage can be declared and can be registered at the national registry system in a very safe manner. So for the cases of birth, we have health agents that are supposed, or maybe doctors and nurses that are able to declare the birth of the new born. So for the cases of marriage, it is the state agent that is in charge of registering any marriage. So for the cases of death, these are agents from the health sector that are in charge of recording any cases of death. And this one, so the outcome as well as way forward. Since the creation of this structure, our government has really changed. Any other issue that we had before in terms of registration has changed. Today, citizens are more confident and they are ready to register themselves. So the next step is to digitalize the old structure for marriage as well as cases of death. We will make sure to expand in all the corners of our country. Conclusion. From the birth to the death, every human has to have the right to identification. Our country or our government has decided to come up with a structure to help bringing people together and having an inclusive system for our people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And let's go to you, Mr. Manya.
I had a presentation. I don't know whether it's there or they didn't upload. Yes, yeah. My name is Dr. Manya, and in this meeting I wear two hats. I work for the Ministry of Health, Kenya, and I'm also a co-chair of Health Data Collaborative Routine Health Information System Technical Working Group. And so with that Routine Health Information System, we also collaborate with the civil registration. And I'm just glad to be here to give you just a short thing, something just about Kenya. And if you don't hear anything about this presentation, the objective is to tell you that Kenya is implementing a very rapid digitization program that we think it is going to be supportive in all aspects of on universal health access and also civil registration. So in the next slide, please. So we just a quick preview about our country. We collect data on civil registration, both in our routine health information systems and including the hospital systems that we have. We are doing very well in terms of birth registration, almost reaching 80%. The deaths registration is a bit lower, not more than 50. And we also, like any other country, I'm sure we talk about fragmented systems. We have so many systems collecting here and there, and that is some of the things we are trying to cure. And when it comes to the causes of death, we still have an issue of people not knowing what caused death. But of course, me as a doctor, I know everybody's heart stops beating. And so that's some of the things, the things that we still have a problem on that. And also we have, sometimes we complain of the limited use of a unique number. In Kenya, we are rolling out a unique number so that at birth you have your number that will go with you up to the end of of your time. Next. So this is the slide that I was saying that we are embarking on a digitization program. We are doing an integrated health information system that actually is using health HIE, where we are able to interoperate data from various systems, from the registers. So anytime you go to the hospital, your name will actually be removed from the registration. So you will not be writing names. We just give your ID and your name comes out. And then when it comes to treatment, we still use the same register that we put together. And if this system works, then it will be very easy because anything that happens at the health facility will be captured. But again, that's not everything. You know, with our civil registration, these activities don't occur always in hospitals. So we also have to implement other systems that are able to collect data in the community. And that also adds into other aspects of verbal autopsy so that can really be able to collect. Can we have the next slide then? So there are very many ways we've done to improve. And in this country, we've made so many rules. Rules in terms of policies, data governance acts, and all these are just supporting because some people don't want their data to be seen. So we have all that protection acts. We also have tried very well to improve infrastructure. We have enough power in many areas, so that's us there. And also in terms of internet, it's quite available in many places. And maybe the reason you chose to come to Nairobi is because we have very good power, good road network. So those are some of the areas that we've tried to do. And we've gone to the scaling down. Although I may not talk about the quality of electricity, but at least it's there. It may be going on and off, but it is there. So we can have all this. And then one of the areas we are trying now is to think about processes and the people. And this is what most of you forget about change. People have to change. They have to be told to go and register, the importance of this. And this is this area that we need to do so much on it. And finally, we think about analyzing the data and feeding them to tell them, you have not registered, how come your county or your place is not doing very well? So those are the main things. The other one last slide. And one of the ways we think we need to continue the integration of these systems, we also need to strengthen the community data, the one I told you, so that they are well reported. And we also need to think about sometimes when we get money, among you are some of our donors. When you give us money, we are able to implement certain aspects like verbal autopsy to improve some of these things. And finally, we also have things like private partnership. Right now, we are using money from telecom, that is Safaricom, to build that integrated system that can actually be used to capture so many things. And then finally, I think before I stop, there is that big thing called capacity building. And everybody talks about capacity building. We need to train people at all aspects. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much. And really, thank you to all our panelists for short, but really, I think, insightful presentations. And sorry that this was such a short session, but I think a lot of it, a lot of important messages at least came through. So perhaps we have maybe, we can take a couple of questions or comments from the floor, just two, and then go back to the panel for maybe just final remarks.
Okay, thank you. I have a question for Kenya. I want to know if your DHIS2 is interoperable in the two directions, from health facility to CRVS and from health facility to civil registration and from civil registration to health facility. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for that. I just want to note that in Kenya, we collect data in two modules of DHIS, we have the aggregate data that actually able to accumulate the numbers. And then we have the tracker that kind of continuously collected the data. So when you want to interoperable, it is done, but only the aggregate data we allow it to pass by because we don't want all the data to flow. So we've been working on that, and DHIS is very easy to interoperate with other systems because it has all the mechanisms. But mostly we do the numbers, not the individual data.
Hi, this is Dr. Sumaya, and I'm currently serving as police surgeon in the city of Karachi. I'm from Pakistan. Just wanted to ask Mr. Ayub, that do you have a legal standing of verbal autopsy in Kenya?
Yeah, that's a good question. I want to start with an assumption. The fact that we've been conducting verbal autopsy in communities and in this country, and we've not been taken to court, we can assume there is legal provision of that. When you see me talking like that, you just know I don't have one at the tip to tell you this is the one that guides us. But definitely we are guided by other orders like data quality, data privacy, quite a lot of them. So I'll take time to find out from my legal guys if it is there. But the fact that we are able to conduct verbal autopsy officially in front of everybody and be able to give this data for policy formulation, it just means we are actually allowed to do it. But behind the tent, we'll talk, and I'll have dark enough history on my part. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. This was really a rich session and really important points that actually have been mentioned in the sessions that we've had so far. I think one that, again, cuts across all the presentations that we've had is the rapid progress that is being made by countries. And, I think these gatherings really allow us to also share experience. And as you were talking about this morning, why not have South-South collaboration in exchange in this case? But I think there was one point that, again, everybody mentioned, which is rapid digitization, which intersects with also the gender divide, which we know is actually real, gender digital divide. So I think, again, it's important to recognize that and make sure that as we go through digitization, we also don't create another form of inequality, right? Inequality based on the digital divide that really, again, permeates into the civil registration by the statistics. But thank you again to everyone, and round of applause for our panelists.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Mr. Papa, for that brief panel moderation. Let's give them a round of applause one more time. Moving swiftly to our next session, we have session 5 on strengthening population registers via alignment of CRVS systems, ID management systems, population and housing, censuses, and related data systems. And to guide this next session, we have Mr. Federico Segui, the Deputy Director General, INE Uruguay. So with a round of applause, let's kindly welcome him on stage. And as he comes, allow me to read out the panelists real quick. We have Mr. Mehmet Saban Ukat, the head demography and migration statistics, TaxTac, Republic of Turkey. Let's put our hands together for Mr. Mehmet. And then we have Mr. Tsogzolma from the senior statistician, Population and Housing Census Division, National Statistics Office, Mongolia. Let's put our hands together for Tsogzolma. And then last but not least, we have Ms. Judy Kilobi, Secretary, Integrated Population Registration System, Ministry of Interior and National Administration, Republic of Kenya. Put our hands together for Ms. Judy. Over to you, Mr. Federico.
Speakers and colleagues, good afternoon Buenas tardes, Njana Muema. That's the only two words that I know, but at least. Okay. Welcome to session 5. It is an honor to chair this important discussion on strengthening population registers through the alignment of CRVS systems, identity management systems, censuses, and related administrative data sources. Let me tell you that during the last 2 days here, we had a fruitful side event of the expert group of the community of practice on population register, co-chaired by UNFPA, Statistics Norway, and INE of Uruguay. In this session, we will continue discussing and sharing experiences on population registers. The core principle that unites us today is simple but powerful. A person's legal identity and demographic presence should be visible, continuous, and accurately reflected across systems. Universal, permanent, and high-quality registrations of vital events, birth, death, marriages, and migrations form the foundation upon which inclusive and reliable population registers are built. These registers in turn serve as a central reference for numerous public functions, from population censuses operations and social protection targeting to electoral management and national planning. Yet, as many of us know, the path forward integrated and sustainable population register is not purely technical. It is institutional and cultural. It requires trust, coordination, and shared vision between civil registration authorities, national statistical offices, and identity management agencies. Today's session will highlight how countries are putting this integration into practice. From Turkey, we will hear about the integration of civil registration address registers and administrative records to maintain an updated population register. Mongolia will share its experience in moving toward a register-based census, demonstrating how administrative data can gradually replace traditional enumeration. And Kenya will present its progress in aligning the CRVS system in ID management and population register, offering valuable insights on institutional and legal harmonizations. As a chair, I invite you, all of you, to engage actively in the discussion, and at the end of the 3 presentations, we will have time for questions and answers and your comments to share your experience and to help us identify common pathways toward the development of modern, gender-responsive and interoperable population register that leave no one behind. Thank you, and now I invite our first speaker, Mr. Mehmet Shaban Usher. Please, you have 10 minutes.
I will introduce the integration of civil registration, address registers, and administrative records in Turkey. After 14 traditional censuses, a combined census in 2011, our initial goal was to carry out a fully register-based census in 2020 census round, which means that no specific file data collection for census purposes. As you may see from the slide, we have a long history of using registers. The last traditional census was in 2000, only 2 years later in 2002. Central Civil Registration System was established. The system was the first step for a register-based census. Second step is in transitioning to set up address registers. In 2007, address-based population registration system was created by integrating population registers and address registers. ABPRS was a milestone for annual population and migration statistics. Thanks to ABPRS, we can produce more than half of census variables annually. In 2021, a combined census, but register dominant combined census was conducted. In 2022, the Minister of Interior completed the filed operation of spatial address registration system, which includes coordinate information for each buildings. In 2023, basic population statistic at 1 square kilometer grid level was produced for the first time thanks to coordinate information in spatial address registration system. For next census round, our aim to conduct fully register-based census. The establishment of civil registration system called MERNIS in 2001 was a crucial starting point. MERNIS is a nationwide database for registering any changes in civil status such as birth, death, marriages. The system is updated electronically in real time by civil offices. MERNIS has become a backbone of e-government infrastructure in Turkey. MERNIS provided unique personal ID numbers for all persons residing in the country. These 11-digit ID number are used nationwide by all government agencies, and they are generated by a specific algorithm, don't contain any personal information. By means of ID numbers, all vital events are registered fast and efficiently. More importantly, ID numbers are used for linking population registers with other administrative data source. Nevertheless, MERNIS doesn't contain any address information. That's why in 2006, just in 5 years, Turkey established address registers called National Address Database. Together with unique address codes, 40 million addresses were entered into system. This database is updated by Minister of Interior. Unique address codes serves as a key for linkage. National Address Database is a text-based database, doesn't include any coordinate information. The main data source of population statistic address registration system is an integrated system based on MERNIS and National Address Database. Basically, we can illustrate the address registration system as you see on the slide. MERNIS includes all Turkish citizens around the world, but ABPRS covers whole population residing in Turkey, so it covers foreign living in Turkey as well. Work permits, resident permits, and records of Migration Management Authority are used for foreign population. The establishment of the system is based on civil registration service law and Turkish statistical law. According with law, Turkstat established the address registration system through a file study in 2006. Turkstat regional offices coordinate the initial field operation, and finally in 2007 the system was born through matching population and address registers. The system was transferred to Minister of Interior by the end of 2007. Since then, Turkstat, like other institutions, became a user of the system. The Minister of Interior is responsible for maintaining, updating the address registration system. Address registration system is updated by three ways in general. The address components in National Address Database are updated by municipalities and special province administration. The changes in administrative units are updated by Minister of Interior. The usual residence addresses are updated by address declaration of persons. There is a legal obligation to declare address changes in 20 working days in case of the movement. Public institutions shall use the system when carry out their relevant acts and procedures. Public services such as health, education, voting services, etc. are provided based on the address registration system. This ensures the up-to-dateness of the system. While address registration system is an administrative register, Turkstat doesn't utilize the system directly. After we obtain the population register from the Minister of Interior, we conduct studies on institutional population and foreign population. Following to household structure analysis and administrative division controls, together with the data analysis procedures, system turns into a statistical registers ready for statistical production. As of this stage, we call it ABPRS. The bright side of the register-based census is of course cost efficient. As you see on the chart, the cost of 2000 traditional census was $43.7 million. The cost of establishment of ABPRS, $35.9 million. Last combined census, cost of 2011 combined census was $5.2 million. Since 2008, annual statistic for ABPRS are produced with almost no extra cost, saving approximately $2 million per year. Actually, building a registration system such as ABPRS is not a cost, it is an investment. ABPRS is the backbone of the current population and migration statistic in Turkey. Thanks to ABPRS, we annually can produce population statistic like age, sex, structure, country of citizenship, marital status, place of civil registration, place of birth, mean household size, type of household, immigration, emigration, reason for internal migration. ABPRS is also based base data source for life tables and population projections. By using ABPRS and spatial address registration system information, recently population at grid level is produced. To be able to conduct a register-based census, a national statistic office should have a strong legal base. In Turkey, official statistic program is the base legislation for census. In terms of access to registers, Turkstat has a right to obtain an address from the data holders based Turkish statistical law for statistical purposes only. In return, microdata obtained solely for statistics cannot be shared by Turkstat at record level. The personal data protection law in Turkey clearly states the production of official statistics. Quality assurance and quality controls are crucial in register-based statistics. We conduct quality checks in all source, input data, process, output data stages. Another essential component is the official statistic program. Official statistic programs set out objectives, coverage methods, frequency, work plan, and dissemination principle for official statistics. One of the most benefits in register-based statistics is cost efficiency. By leveraging administrative data that is already being collected, statistical production becomes significantly less expensive. This method also enables labor-saving process as it reduces the need for extensive field work and manual data collection. Another important advantage is more up-to-dateness and frequent statistics. As for challenges, first, when considering input data and process-related difficulties, it is important to recognize that the information is often solely collected for administrative purposes, not statistical analysis. This can result in a lack of relevant metadata and and inconsistencies in classification or definition used by different data holders. Additionally, there may be discrepancies in reference dates and risk of multiple records. The application process may lead to avoid data loss. In Turkey, almost half of census type variables already annually obtained from the administrative records for 2021 population and housing census. The reference date was set as December 31st, 2021, which is the same date as the reference for ABPRS. This means the basic source of framework for census were provided by the ABPRS data. In fact, most of information planned within the scope of the census has already been released to public in February 2022.
Sorry.
Okay. Within the framework of Eurostat recommendation at grid level, we produced population by sex and age group. In addition to, we also literacy and mean years of schooling. As a result of 2021 census became a combined census. We call it register dominant combined census. Our ultimate target remains as changing the system from combined method to fully register-based census. In conclusion, we can humbly claim the Turkish version of integrated civil registration address registers and administrative records is good country example. If you have any question or comment, I would appreciate if you could send me email. You can find my email address on the screen. I would prefer if you any question you send me mail. Thank you for attention.
Thank you. Our next speaker is from Mongolia, Ms. Solma Jargalsayhan. I'm sorry for the pronunciation. You have 10 minutes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm introduced towards register-based census in Mongolia. This year, our National Statistics Office of Mongolia is working to organize the 2025 midterm population and housing census. Our census issue is naturally related to the population and household registration system because we are using this registration system as one of the main sources for our midterm census. According to the history of the population and household registration system, our country first started registering births and deaths in 1951. In 1972, the system of population and household registration has been established. 1984, the issuance of register numbers has begun. 1987, a temporary division for the population and housing census has been established. 2007, the first program for population and household registration was developed. 2011, a digital database has been started at the back-end HORO local administrative level. 2015, the population and household database was used for the first time in the census. 2019, improvements have been made. 2020, the population and household database served as the primary data source for the 2020 population and housing census. This slide shows population and household register system database. The current data collection flow of the population and household database. We have Lawan statistics. Their Article 21, the governors of Bucks and Horus maintain the population and household registration. Lawan civil registration Article 27 in accordance with Article 21, paragraph 1 of the Lawan statistics, the governors Bucks and Horus shall maintain the registration of the population, households, and citizens' temporary residence. Mongolia's Bag Horo is updated and record total of 23 indicators and migration data regularly real time. The need to requirements for updating the population household database, in this citizen participation was very low. There were limitations in terms of funding and time, and data quality issues were raised due to outdated software. Last year, we are updated our population and household database. This developed version of our population household database, it allows for updating information from government databases. It's unique from the previous version by allowing citizens to update their information themselves. This slide shows census history timeline. Let us briefly introduce the history of country's census. The first census was held in 1918. Mongolia has held 11 censuses in its history. Here we mention the highlights. Starting with the 1961 census, we began organizing the census in accordance with the UN principles. We also adopted the law on national census, population and housing for the first time, 2008. Our 2010 census is also unique, that is the first census organized after the adopted of the first independent census law. This census was also first to count our citizens abroad via the internet. However, for 2020, we organized the census using mixed method. This year, the 2024 census will be conducted based administrative data. Now, data collection work is starting our country from today. This is from legal perspective based on the law on statistics, law on population and housing census, and law on transparency public information, as well as the census manual used by the United Nations. It is stipulated that regular census should be conducted every 10 years and midterm census should be conducted every 5 years. We are working to move from a traditional census to a mixed and register-based census. As a part of the work organized the interim census, we have established the census committee and technical working group. We have also issued government decree and made it mandatory for government agencies to submit information, and if necessary, we have made it mandatory for the government to issue a decision and obtain prompt support for the census work. In addition, in developing the census questionnaire and the conceptual framework, we have organized and collaborated with 2 discussions with representatives of senior workers who have previously worked on the population census. Data collection integration. Since we will be conducting the census based on the database government agencies, we have organized 2 data testing activities. The first was based on the data 825 people, and the second was based on the data 474 people. Based on the information in the database government agencies, we will obtain the information of the citizen and organize the clarification work of data collection work on the areas that need clarification. And doing so, citizens living abroad will be identified using CAVI method, and citizens and within Mongolia will be identified using the CAVI and CATI methods. A census database will be created by integrating basic and specialist databases of government agencies. Administrative data will be compiled for 61 indicators from 14 agencies. Data validation will be implemented in these 4 stages. Okay. Also, quality assessment here, there was 4 steps. We have this May source stage organized, and the data will be collected 30 databases from 14 data collection organizations. We have these challenges. The quality of government agencies is insufficient. Conversion of administrative data into statistical data, public trust, and participation, institutional coordination. This expectation we have, cost reduction. It's expected that the cost will be 60% lower than the amount spent on the 2020 population housing census. Quality enhancement, provide statistics on population households housing every year and improve the timeliness of sampling frame. Improving the accuracy of survey targets, items that are difficult to capture in the field surveys. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Solma. Our final speaker is Ms. Judy Kilobi from Kenya. Please, you have 10 minutes.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak. I'm a government official, and I would like to make an announcement before I resume my presentation. Maybe you've read in the social media, or you've heard some whispers around that a dark cloud has fallen on our country today. And we were waiting for communication from the head of state, and we've just received the presidential proclamation by the head of state on the death of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, the former Prime Minister of the Republic of Kenya. And it has been issued today at State House. And I'll read it in partly, and then we'll observe a minute of silence. To the people of the Republic of Kenya, it is with profound sorrow and deepest sense of loss that I discharge my solemn duty to notify Kenya, Africa, and the world of the passing of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, EGH, the former Prime Minister of the Republic of Kenya. The Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga passed away this morning in India, where he was receiving medical treatment. So I would urge all of us to stand up and observe a minute of silence for our fallen hero. Thank you very much, and may his soul rest in peace. I hope you've not eaten into my time. I'm going to present on Kenya's alignment of the CRVS system, the ID management system, and the population register. Kenya's alignment of the CRVS system, ID management system, and the population register. I don't have a PowerPoint presentation. I have some talking notes here. And to start with the background, population registration function in Kenya started way during the colonial era in 1904. And at that time, the different functions of registration were done in silos with inadequate connectivity, manual sharing of information, non-effective utilization of data, and the risk of fraud and forgery due to lack of automation. This negatively impacted on government planning, population surveillance, public administration, and formulation of policies. So the IPRS, the Integrated Population Registration System, was implemented in 2008 and was officially launched by the head of state in 2015. It is mandated by the Kenya Citizens and Foreign Nationals Management Act of 2011, which created the IPRS to manage the National Population Register for purposes of collecting and compiling information concerning the distribution and composition of the population in Kenya into a single database for ease of sharing and for ease of verification of information. The IPRS system in Kenya, that is the National Population Register, is populated with data from primary registration agencies. They include the civil registration services, where we have the births, deaths, and then the marriages. We have the National Registration Bureau that issues national identity cards, the immigration services, and the refugee services, which deals with the registration of refugees, and they are all operating under different independent legislation. But the overarching act, the one I've just mentioned, gives the mandate to the IPRS to collect information from all the primary registration agencies. The users who are integrated with the IPRS for the Know Your Customer, the KYC, include government ministries, departments, and agencies, where even the tax department, the KRA, is also integrated. Those are government parastatals. We have circles, banks, all insurance companies, financial technology companies, counties, money transfer companies, mobile telephone companies, circles, employment agencies, and other private sector operators are all integrated with the population register. Sharing and utilization of data in the register is done in accordance with the Data Protection Act, the Access to Information Act, and the Computer Misuse and Cyber Crimes Act. Sitting at IPRS, the only way IPRS can function is when we have a fully operational system at the civil registration, with networks across the country for real-time data transmission. This would be the surest way of achieving a comprehensive master database in the shortest time possible and in a less costly way. Towards this end, when IPRS was launched, the first thing that IPRS had to do was to install a robust system at the civil registration services with the ability to capture and transmit data to IPRS in real time. The IPRS system enables updating of personal information from individuals from various agencies. It is scalable for any new agencies which wish to be integrated in a seamless way. The system is accessible, reliable, and available for access at all times. We also have a disaster recovery plan, and this is meant to ensure effective business continuity. When the system is down, the disaster recovery center is at the government data center. with the realization that a comprehensive population register will be realized with full or complete birth and death registration in the country, there are efforts that the government has put in place to ensure that the civil registration services is able to realize universal registration so that they can populate the master database. One of them is having, in law, we have free birth and death registration. So this one, there's no hindrance in terms of cost. To assess whether the CRS system is also performing in terms of completeness, the vital statistics reports are produced annually, which are able to show the progress in terms of completeness and the disparities in completeness in the various regions so that it informs intervention. And this particular report has been produced religiously for the last 15 years. There is strengthened health facility registration in Kenya, where 90% of registered births are from health facilities, and 52% of registered deaths in Kenya are also from the health facilities. So that kind of strengthened health facility registration is what has boosted the completeness of registration of births and deaths in Kenya. My previous speaker, Dr. Manya, and even the Secretary of Civil Registration alluded to the fact that civil registration is undertaking a rapid digitalization meant to enhance automation, digitization of old records, and uploading of the records into the IPRS database. This is ongoing. And then the civil registration at the same time is implementing the death registration policy to ensure automation of deaths at the point of registration. You've also had mentioning of implementation of the UPI, which was rolled out last year. And this is going to allow for integration with the other ID systems. So the process started last year, and it is ongoing. There's been creation of demand for registration, and these are incentives in the system itself. And you cannot, for example, enroll your child to school without a birth certificate or into any health insurance scheme, social protection, or even higher education loans board without a birth certificate. So that, in essence, creates demand at a very early age, and this has helped boost registration. And for deaths, for example, at this point, when we are heading to the elections, it's very critical that we have to update the electoral register as well as the social protection database, where we usually, the government has subsidies that are given to old people in the country. So it's important that the data is also available to be able to cleanse those databases. The civil registration has also undertaken mobile registration in the hard-to-reach areas. And these are usually the nomadic and the ASAL areas, arid and semi-arid areas, to be able to improve registration. And they have opened more offices in the recent past. In the last 1 year, about 24 offices, so that there is access of the service. Undergoing right now is review of the legal framework to address the emerging issues that hamper registration of births and deaths, anchoring data protection in the law and alignment with other laws. And then they also have stakeholder engagement and coordination through the Civil Registration and Vital Statistics, TWG. That way all stakeholders are together to support in terms of technical expertise and even financial assistance in improving CRS. The National Registration Bureau, which issues the IDs, we are working with them to ensure that all adult Kenyans have IDs, and that way they'll be in the database. They have what we call the live capture at the moment. Once your fingerprints are taken, the information is relayed to the National Population Register in real time. So this one has really helped in terms of real-time information. There's also free issuance of the first registration for the ID. They are currently conducting mobile registration also in the hard-to-reach areas to issue people with IDs. And the PS currently is rolling out the new guidelines on identification for registration. so that nobody is left behind, because initially vetting used to be done and there were complaints that many people could not get the ID because of the tedious vetting processes, which were abolished, and new guidelines have been developed, which are being rolled out at the moment. Immigration is fully automated, and data from immigration services is uploaded to the IPRS in real time. The e-citizen has also helped in terms of improving the data that we have in the population register. The e-citizen platform is a government single point of access for its services. So there's an endeavor to link access of government services to the National Population Register. The e-citizen platform is anchored on the population register, and it's the only gateway to the access of government services. So if you're not in the population register, then it will be a business to look for us to ensure that you are enrolled in the population register for purposes of accessing government services through e-citizen. The challenges still remain in complete registration. You heard from Dr. Manya, currently the birth registration is around 80% and the deaths about 47%. So we are grappling with that, and all these efforts I've mentioned are to work towards realizing universal registration so that we are able to have a complete register. There's also the issue of incomplete automation, and which we are also working on. So those are the challenges, but at the end of the day, we have a robust population register which is being accessed and also which is generating revenue for government. We charge the private sector, but we do not charge the government agencies integrated with the register. So that way we have also been able to raise revenue for government and demonstrated that we have a positive impact to the economy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you to all the three excellent speakers for their fantastic presentation. And now we open the floor for questions, comments. Romesh, and then here.
Okay. Well, thank you, Federico, and Romesh Silva from UNFPA Center of Excellence for CRVS Systems. First, just wanted to thank and congratulate all the speakers. This is a really informative and stimulating session. I actually wanted to direct my questions and comments mainly to Mehmet from Turkstat and Judy from the KNBS. You both described some of the costing and financing issues related to the trade-offs between a traditional census and a combined and register-based census. And as UNFPA, we get these kinds of questions all the time. We, of course, host a global census program as well as a global center of excellence for CRVS systems. And so I first wanted to really just commend you for sharing that costing comparison. I think that's really compelling. I had a couple of questions because I think what you were showing was the direct cost comparison between the traditional census and then later on a combined census. And those are, of course, important pieces of analysis. I think one of the bigger questions which a lot of people are asking is, what are the costs of the transition? And then there are the financial costs of transitioning, and then there are the non-financial costs, right? And I was wondering whether you might be able to share any thinking or information that you have about those, the actual financial costs of the transition. But then also the non-financial effects, because they are profound. What you are doing is reducing the burden on the populace. A traditional census for most countries is the largest peacetime undertaking that the country undertakes. It's a huge, respondent burden. And there's no easy way to quantify, reducing that burden. But I'm curious whether you've been what the thinking has been at Turkstat to communicate that and to document that, because that seems like a very important piece of the puzzle. Turning to the Kenyan experience, Judy, just right at the end, you mentioned the sustainability model of charging the private sector in terms of utilizing and benefiting from the population register. Due to time, I think you weren't able to go into much detail. I was wondering whether you could just expand on that and help people understand a little bit about what that business model looks like, and what the thinking is there in terms of trying to ensure that the maintenance and updating of the population register is sustainable through that kind of private sector financing. Thank you.
Here, Isabella, and then you, then Isabella.
Thank you. My question is for Mongolia. You have a sizable nomadic pastoralist community. My question is, how does that create challenges for you when you do your register-based census? And also, how have you overcome those problems?
Good afternoon. I just want Julia to shed light on some of the best practices that Kenya is able to overcome the registration policy, registering all children or most of the children who are seeking health education against the background of universal access to education and health.
Please.
Thank you. Thanks for the great presentations. Just very brief questions. For all the register-based censuses, what are the minimum requirements that a country needs to have in place in order to conduct a register-based census? Because we've just had in some countries coverage for births, deaths is quite minimal, low, and I would assume other records probably in some countries are the same. So did you consider those factors when you went that direction, or you just did it and figured it out as you did it? And then secondly, in terms of consistencies across records, what are the levels of inconsistencies? Do you say it's just about 5% that you have to resolve, or 20% or so? And if so, does that need some adjustment or so? And then lastly, a number of countries are now considering those transitions. Do you use the same unique identifier across services? I know in Kenya we have the PIN, I have an ID, I have a passport. They all carry different numbers. How are we dealing with those situations? Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe we can start. Thank you, and if we have time, we can write it.
Thank you very much for your question, Romesh. Especially, firstly, I will mention about the cost efficiency. I will mention about. I mentioned about my presentation. The traditional censuses was very big operations. As far as I know, our last census in Turkey, 1 million staff was hired for population census. It is a big cost for Turkey. But last census, we conduct only file operation for building variables. In this survey, only 40 staff were hired. It is a cost efficiency. If register, if you establish a registers, you especially it is investment. I said. The other question.
Oh, the other question was about the non-financial benefits of the transition to a register-based census, particularly the reduction in the burden on the respondent population. And I was wondering whether you had ideas about how to quantify the reduction of the burden on the populace of moving to a register-based census.
Especially for housing census, we combined administrative registers obtained from other institutions, around 40 registers to produce census variables to reduce burden. We linked thanks to unique ID numbers, especially in all registers in Turkey contains unique ID number. You can easily link each other. Also, you can produce easily census variables, core variables also.
I can answer. Okay, I'll begin with the last question about the multiple numbers. How are we dealing with the multiple numbers? And I mentioned earlier that is one of the challenges that we had as a country until last year when we decided to implement the UPI, which we are rolling out and will phase out the other numbers, because that number then will become your ID number. In fact, currently the UPI generator is generating both the birth certificate number and also the age 18 number, because then it will have to be seamless. It will transit at age 18 into the national ID. But at the moment, if you are an adult, your ID number is your PIN, your personal identification number. And if you have the passport, that number, that is your PIN at the moment. There was the question on denial of education and healthcare. And we do not deny, but when you look at our Constitution, Article 53, registration of births and deaths, and the right to the child's identity at birth is very well articulated in Article 53 of our Constitution. And it's the first right. When you look at those other rights, if a child misses out on the first one, then you will not even get parental care and responsibility if they abandon the child and you don't know their parents. So we are trying to actually sensitize the communities on getting the first right of a child, and then you get the other rights actually fall in place. We allow a child to go to school, but then we follow up with the schools. We put a mechanism in place where the heads of schools are the ones, if they receive these children without those birth certificates, then they approach our offices through the parents, they get details from the parents, and then they're able to get birth certificates for them. That is working for us. And in terms of healthcare, you know, healthcare is even private. So a private entity will demand for the document, and it will be the responsibility of the parents to do that. But we don't outrightly deny children going to school. We are working with the heads of schools, and they have been doing a perfect job. Because now we are rolling out the Kenya the Education Management Information System, where each child has to be identified before they are given capitation at school. You know, the government is actually paying for free primary school. So for a child to access that money, you want to eliminate fraud. You are paying for a child that you know. Otherwise, we'll have fake children in school, and the government is going to lose a lot of money, whose identity is even not known. So we are looking at the cost benefit vis-a-vis also encouraging the public to do that. In terms of private sector financing, it's working perfectly for us. And as we are seated here, all the private sector companies are looking for us day and night. They are looking at the risk assessment and what they are losing if they are not able to verify their customers. The loss is insurmountable.
So we don't even go looking for them. Those requests come because if they don't verify their customers, then they stand to lose. And we charge for every single record they seek to verify from our system. First of all, they deposit a certain amount of money with an account that we have at the Kenya Commercial Bank. That amount of money at the end of the month is now transmitted to the revenue account for government. So the entities deposit money in that account and they continue to use. When it's about to be depleted, an SMS or a notice sent to them that the amount is almost getting depleted, and then they are able to replenish it and continue. It is working perfectly for us, and the government has been able to use that money to finance the National Population Register, because you agree with me that running a National Population Register is quite expensive in terms of the infrastructure that you have to put in place and which you keep updating. Thank you very much.
Question. This register-based census main this year we have conduct. Then every year we will easily to compile this census. Like government agencies data we have collected, then every year this register-based census we will take.
Excuse me, can I add some comment to her question? So both internal and international migration is so challenging in Mongolia because we can't, actually we have the international register from international migration, but the quality and timeliness are not so good. So that part of the migration is so challenging. So we still thinking about how to improving the quality of that migration. Thank you.
Okay, please.
Thank you. I'm a voice of online users. Then we have a number of virtual users who are watching and interacting with us, and we've been not taking their questions because we were late in some of the sessions. But I have a question from Musidi Nelaupo, who's the Director of Birth and Death Statistics from Statistics South Africa, who's asking our colleague from Mongolia on what does a mixed census mean, and what aspect of the process were based on traditional census and which aspect were based on the administrative data. And then a very quick question for our colleague from Kenya, and this is from not sure from where it's coming. For Kenya, is the ID number assigned to children from birth? So there are two questions there. Thanks.
Thank you. And as the answer, I'll kindly request our speakers to be steady in talking so that the interpreters can capture every word. Thank you.
Starting last year, as I had mentioned, the unique personal identifier is being assigned at birth, and that will be the ID number. So it will roll out until when these children reach 18 years, it will automatically translate into an ID number. But at the moment, we are grappling with what she had raised much earlier. We've had different identifiers depending on which document that we have. So we are trying to harmonize that. But we have agreed as a government that the ID number at the moment is for people who are 18 and above, that is your unique personal identifier. Thank you.
We have time for one more question.
Sorry. Yeah.
Can you ask the question again? Sorry.
Can I answer?
Please answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
For mixed method, that means this year we conducted the mid-census. So first we need to use the administrative data for this census. Then whose information is missing on administrative data, we use the telephone CATI method. So that's the mixed method. Thank you.
It's not really a question, it's a reflection that I'm having. And first of all, congratulations to all the speakers, very informative sessions. I am reflecting on the evolution of this CRVS conversation since 2009, when William mentioned that is when the API CRVS initiative was born. And I'm reflecting from the continental context, the African continent context, that we started by talking of civil registration, and then it became CRVS. We had the statisticians around the table, and then we moved on to CRVS ID. Now we've moved on to CRVS ID and population registers. We are very privileged that Judy, who is heading the population registers institution in Kenya, was formerly a colleague that we were engaging in under her leadership on CRVS. But I'm wondering, is there another community that we are not having in this room? Because this agenda is evolving. It appears that we need to be talking to a broader group of stakeholders. I don't know how many countries have the opportunity to have the person leading this kind of institution being people with a background like what Judy has. And also for us as partners, the kind of technical resources we are developing then need to evolve to speak to a broader community of experts and government stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
So we are also going to take questions from session 2 and session 3 that we didn't have any questions. So if you jotted down any question and you're ready to shoot your question, feel free to do that. Our speakers and panelists are happy to answer. So that applies to the online guys as well. If you had a question from session 3 and session 2, please feel free to shoot your question and we'll have our panelists answer.
Okay. As we close this enlightening session, let me begin by expressing sincere appreciation to our speakers for sharing such valuable experiences from Turkey, Mongolia, and Kenya. Their presentation have illustrated that the future of population registers or population data system depends on our collective ability to connect systems that were once fragmented: civil registration, identity management, address registers, and censuses into a coherent, interoperable, and inclusive data ecosystem. Today's discussions has underscored that population registers are not longer just administrative tools, they are living systems at the heart of integrated national data infrastructures. When they are continuously updated through robust civil registration and aligning with identity management systems, address registers, and other administrative sources, they become the backbone for evidence-based policymaking, social protection, and population census modernization. From Turkey, we learn about the practical integration of civil registration, address registers, and migration statistics to keep population register current and relevant. Mongolia shared how register-based censuses are shaping traditional approaches to enumeration, increasing efficiency and sustainability. Kenya offered valuable lessons on the institutional and technical alignment between CRVS, ID management, and population registration, demonstrating the importance of legal, technological, and human coordination to make integration work in place. Allow me now to share briefly the experience of Uruguay, a country that is also moving in this direction. Over the past year, we have been developing the statistical population register as part of a broader vision to transition from a traditional census model to a combined and ultimately register-based census. The SPR integrates multiple administrative sources, including civil registration, education, health, social protection, and migration records that uses a set of sign-of-life indicators to identify residents who are active within the country. This approach allows us to maintain an up-to-date statistical representation of the resident population, even in the absence of a centralized population register. In 2023, Uruguay conducted its first combined population and housing census, which marked a major step in the operational use of the statistical population register to complement the census enumeration. Across all cases, several common threads emerged. First, the quality and completeness of civil registration remain the foundation of any population register. Without universal and timely registration of vital events, especially birth and death, the register risks perpetuating exclusion. Second, data interoperability and legal frameworks are critical. Integration depends on coherent laws and enables secure and ethical data sharing and interoperable systems built around unique identifiers. Third, trust and inclusiveness must guide our work. Gender-responsive and rights-based approaches ensure that women, migrants, several populations are fully visible in these systems, not just as numbers, but as citizens with rights and identities. As we reflect on all the examples discussed today, it is clear that we are part of a global movement towards a smarter, more connected, and gender-responsive population data system. This lesson reminds us that integration is not merely a technical exercise. It is an institutional transformation that requires sustained political commitment, interagency collaboration, and investment in digital public infrastructure aligned with human rights principles. Let me close by thanking our speakers, Ahmed Lama and Judy, for their outstanding contribution, and all participants for their comments, questions. This dialogue today reinforces a simple truth. When our systems speak to each other, our society becomes more visible, more equitable, and more resilient. Thank you.
Amazing. Let's appreciate our speakers and panelists for this session 5 with a round of applause. Thank you so much, Mr. Federico, for that amazing moderation. So important to note, if you have any questions that have not been addressed, unfortunately, some of our speakers have already left. However, they are very active on social media platforms. You can always drop them a message on LinkedIn and also connect with them even as we continue having this conversation. Now, what a day it has been. Today has been day 1 of 3 amazing days, and we started off very well from the opening notes to rich discussions that we've just wrapped, and it has been nothing short of enlightening. We've traveled across different continents through stories, data, and solutions, and that's the power of shared purpose and technology. And it's amazing. It's amazing to see all these progressions that we are having even in the continent. And so today reminded us that behind every number lies a name, And behind every statistic lies a story, often a woman's story, waiting to be counted, recognized, and protected. And we've heard how civil registration and vital statistics are not just administrative systems, they are systems of dignity, inclusion, and identity. They tell us who counts and who is still waiting to be counted. Now, a gentle reminder, even as you continue the sessions, before we officially call it a day, the evening is just getting started, actually. It might look like the day is over, but it's just getting started. And what I mean by that is we have a very nice welcome reception happening right here at Safari Park at Disco Deck. That's where we are going to unwind, to continue the conversations and enjoy some well-deserved tea, coffee, cocktails, snacks, and all that. Get to know somebody. Don't go back to your country knowing the same people you knew. And so don't rush. We are going to walk there. We have the Safari Park staff that is going to guide us to that area. We'll connect, laugh, and celebrate a brilliant first day of the 4th Global CRVS and Gender Symposium. I'll give you an overview of day 2, even as we conclude. So tomorrow we begin with an invite-only breakfast side event happening from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. I know today we have really delayed on time due to some unavoidable circumstances, but for tomorrow, please, we request you to keep time. So for the invitees, you're kindly reminded that the session happens, the breakfast side event happens from 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. And that is the CRVS Partners Roundtable. And this will bring together key leaders to align domestic and international financing for universal legal identity. To all invitees, this is a kind reminder. Please note that this is an invite only. You are requested not to bring non-invitees. And then at 9:30 a.m., the main sessions are going to continue with the country case studies on marriage and divorce registration. We are going to hear from amazing speakers, powerful insights on how nations are advancing gender equity and women's empowerment through vital registration. After that, you're going to have a break, and then we'll dive into 3 parallel sessions, exploring CRVS systems assessment, coordination, and digitalization, with country examples from Ghana, Namibia, Indonesia, Zambia, and even more. Then after that, we'll have our moderators share highlights from those sessions. We'll have a coffee break later in the evening. And now, what is the 4th Global CRVS without a dinner? We are going to have an amazing symposium dinner at Nyamachoma Ranch featuring iconic Safari Cats dance troupe. It's an optional dinner, but we are going to invite you to please sign up and experience that amazing dinner. It goes for 4,800 Kenyan shillings per participant. And it's a great way to unwind, to network, to enjoy Nairobi's finest hospitality. If you wish to join, kindly pass by the registration desk. We have the I almost said $1 billion event organizers. We have the billion event organizers that are going to help you to give you a registration card, and then you can be able to show up. So please come. We're going to have some good times. And so as we close the one, let's pause again to appreciate the remarkable partners that have brought us this far. We have the Government of Kenya, UNFPA, IDRC, we have UNICEF, GFF, UNECA, and Open Data Watch. Let's appreciate them with a round of applause. And we also wish to acknowledge every organization and individual who continues to push for gender-responsive CRVS systems across the globe. Now, it's been such a pleasure. I know you saw my voice in the morning, and I've been here a lot. It's been such a pleasure hosting you. My name is Charity Mbithe from Kaizen Consultancy, and we are very passionate about hosting and moderating events that connect data, dignity, and development. So, because when stories meet systems, transformation happens. And so I've enjoyed being here and having this conversation, listening in. Thank you for participating in my dance. Tomorrow afternoon after lunch, you can be sure that you're going to stretch a bit, and then we will continue to be blessed. So I look forward to seeing you at the welcome reception that is happening from 5:30 p.m. Even if you're not residing here, please don't be in a hurry. We would love to connect with you. And after that, I'm going to wish you guys a lovely evening filled with a good night rest, good food, and even better company. So thank you once again. Safe travels to those who are heading out, and see you tomorrow at exactly 8:30. And we still have one more announcement. So let's kindly welcome Violet.
Yes, I have a small announcement for those who will not be attending the breakfast side event tomorrow. There'll be documentaries from countries on the various CRVS system strengthening effort. So please walk in here. There'll be something on the screen, and you'll be able to learn about what Rwanda, Kenya, Lesotho, and other countries are doing on that. We also have a booth where we are showcasing the work from the government of Kenya, Rwanda, and CRVS partners. So let's walk around, don't stay away, just come in tomorrow, whatever time, and begin to interact with our various spaces where we are showcasing innovations in CRVS. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Violet. Let's appreciate her. So to give you a conversation starter, as we all head to the welcome reception, the question is, I want you to approach somebody you've not spoken to, and you're going to ask them, if you had the opportunity to invite 3 people at your dinner table, dead or alive, anybody, who would you invite and why? Over to you. Have a lovely evening. It's been a pleasure being your MC for the day.